all men are born into a code or they're imprinted by
Hmm.
what's immediately around them. I had two parents, a loving, generous mother who's an athlete, a father who was angry, selfish, and abusive. Three siblings, sister and two brothers. And fortunately, my mother had six brothers.
Awesome.
That was my code that I was born into, right? And that's kind of how we present ourselves to family and the world early on as guys, as we learn to compete, compete for favor, compete for food, compete at school, compete for girls.
Hmm.
That's the man code I was born into. Now, that code does not serve us really well because we are also born into, or at least I was, sin nature. And I'm probably the only guy on this podcast who was born into sin nature.
No, I wouldn't say all that now.
Right. Well, that's what makes us average guys,
Right.
right?
Yep.
And we're born into the sin nature, and sin nature early on in the tweens begins teaching guys that isolation is part of being a guy, part of being
Hmm.
a dude. And that isolation is not good. Complicating things is as we grow into our tweens and teens, we see other guys who may say that they're a church guy or a religion or a
Mm.
Christian guy. That guy doesn't read the Bible, he doesn't pray, and he really doesn't understand the true nature or character of Jesus, let alone reflect it.
Right.
Now we're getting into the man code that you and I understand and impacts guys that we're around. So we have this average or casual guy, right? And he's casual about his faith, casual about his marriage or work, casual about God. And the average guy in church, unfortunately, and even as we've researched this 10 years ago, and it's still true today, it'll be true 20 years from now, probably, unless God makes a difference. The average guy in church is a lot like the average guy outside of church. And proof of that statistically is sexual addiction, masturbation, and porn.
Yep.
Now, we're talking about guys here, but gals, if you're inside a church, guys and gals in church, including staffs, statistically, with regard to porn, are a lot like men and women outside of church,
Hmm.
about the same. And what happens then is guys get wrapped into this, and the casual relationship leads to casualties.
Yep.
And then culture or church or someone's got to fix that, right? So we face up to this code, and that's a good thing because guys who face up to the code are often really good targets for transformation,
Hmm.
right? And to becoming the man of God that God created them to be. But the key to that transformation, it's a relationship with Jesus, getting close to him, staying connected with him. It's abiding, John 15. And when I talk to guys, and I really enjoy doing that, we get into what is abide. It's a churchy word
Hmm.
that means getting close to and staying connected with. When you get close to Jesus and stay connected to him, there's transformation to guys, to relationships at work, let alone marriages and families. And that's cracking the man code. You've probably heard this phrase Jesus prefers availability over capability.
Yes.
I first heard that 15 years ago as we sit here. It made immediate and perfect sense because I was available. I really wanted to grow my relationship very closely with Jesus, but I knew that I really lacked fancy
Mm.
Bible knowledge or lengthy flowery prayer. That was not me.
Right.
It just wasn't. But Jesus prefers availability over capability. And Jesus also does a lot with really common guys.
Right.
His original students were just common guys,
Yep.
some marginalized.
Yep.
Matthew hated. And so he took marginalized guys, and he's still doing that today, and he has done that throughout time. He takes marginalized guys, everyday common guys, and he does really special things. Now, most guys will say, they kind of have that fear of if I get close to you, Blake, or if I listen to this Phil guy,
Right.
this Jesus guy is going to want to take me to the ends of the earth. I'm going to head to one of the polar regions or some desolate place, and I'm going to have to go there and serve. And I bring that up often when I speak, but I said, no, actually, If you're a tool guy, he's probably going to take you back into a bunch of other tool guys.
Yes.
If you're a workout guy and you're into weightlifting, he's probably going to take you back into the gym.
Yes. Living in your purpose, walking in your purpose.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's cracking the man code.
Yep. I love that.